Hello and welcome. Okay, so the truth is, most of us are not designers, or we don't consider ourselves designers, right? But we still need to create things. And when you're working on a particular piece and you need a good background, finding the perfect background can take forever, right? You scroll and scroll and scroll, trying to find something that's not too cheesy, not too busy, still eye-catching, fits your brand. It's a lot. So, Canva to the rescue yet again. They have given us a background generator. So yeah, it's AI, right? And it lets you pick the type of background you want, and then poof, it adds it to your image, right? You don't have to do all the fancy like merging and copying and pasting and all that. All that's out, right? So less time hunting, more time creating. So let's talk some tech about this new fantastic background creator tool. Where's my thing? There it is.
So watch our channel, come and see and laugh and learn, and you'll agree you'll make your tech life easier with your tech coach.
Alrighty, hello. Let me just make sure I changed some things. I always like to check and make sure everything's working. It looks like we're working. Yay. All right, so we have all been in the place where we're trying to get things and it's not really what we wanted exactly, because we're trying to get something out. We're doing a social post, we're doing a promotion, we're creating a web page, whatever it is, right? There are just times that we need images, and if you're lucky enough to have a graphic designer, that's awesome, right? But there's still times that you're going to have to do it yourself because either, they're not available, or, maybe this need has come up and you don't have time to go through that process. So having a tool like Canva give us these extra features really helps to make our lives easier and way, way more efficient, right? Because when you're looking for the right background for something, or maybe you've got an image and it's been working, but now for some reason, like the background no longer applies, or it's distracting, or it's not working, you want something that's just going to work for you, right? So the background generator tool is now available in Canva Pro. So that's really means Canva Pro, Canva Teams, Canva for Education, and Canva for nonprofits. So all these folks should have access to it. And the beauty of this tool is when you're working in whatever it is that you're building and you want to change your background out, you don't have to go multiple places. You can do it right from where you're working in Canva. And when you get the version that you want of this new background, it automatically applies it for you. Now, yeah, are you going to possibly have to do some cleanup and all that? Yeah, a little bit. It kind of depends on what your source image is. But for the most part, it is as close to plug and play as we're probably going to get in the near future for this kind of thing. So we're going to get into all the details about this, but I have been working with it. You start by playing with it, see what it's got, and then I immediately fell in love with it, so I've started using it, and it's really going to help me going forward with my titles for the show, right? This kind of thing. Which one are we doing? We're doing this one, right? So these kinds of things, or my social posts and all that kind of stuff. Info pages for classes I teach, all of the things. And along those lines, for those of you who are new here, welcome. My name is Kathleen. I'm here as your tech coach. Short version of the story is technology is my day gig. It's also my hobby. So friends, family, neighbors, coworkers have always come to me when they've had a question, when they're looking for recommendations, when they need help troubleshooting, so on and so forth. And over time, I've come to realize that not everybody has somebody like that in their life, but they still have the need. So hello, that's why we're here every week. I bring a topic and we go over things, and most of the time these topics are generated from real life experiences, real life questions I've gotten. So please always feel free to go ahead and reach out. If you have a question, if you have something that you want me to cover on the show, you can go here. There is a contact form, yourtechcoach.com, and more than happy to do that, because frankly, that's where the best shows come from. Real life, real questions, right? Okay, so let's keep going here, because this is going to be fun and we'll do some demos, right? But let's first talk about how you can actually use this in your business, because context is important, right? You don't have time as a solopreneur, small business entrepreneur, you don't have a lot of time to be messing around with stuff all the time, right? Even if you really wanted to. So let's talk about practical uses for this, right? Starting with things like product posts on Instagram, Blue Sky, whatever social platforms you're on, right? So that you can present your context, your images, all that kind of stuff with, maybe the right texture or the right mood, or something that's just going to really, stand out as people are scrolling through. You can also use this, in your slides for client pitches or workshops or training that maybe you're doing. It's a great tool for email graphics, right? You can really make those email graphics pop, and you can do it on the fly. So lots of options there. Also, just your website in general. You do have one, right? I've got another show on that. But like I said, like I've said before, whether you have just a one-page website or a multi-page website, doesn't matter. Imagery is important on your website, and this is a great way to come up with imagery that matches your brand, looks fresh, looks original, and gets the message across that you're trying to get across. And then things like, sales page images, product images like we talked about. So those are just some examples, right? You can also use it for, like, if you do flyers, if you do, hard mailings, right? If you're putting things into the post office to deliver to people. Just so many things. Anything that basically is an image, you can use this for. We're going to get into this in a little bit, but just some general ideas on ways to generate better image backgrounds, right? Whatever tool you're using, but especially here, because that's what we're talking about in Canva, right? So you're going to want to write descriptive prompts, right? So, a prompt like, say something like space, like one word, is really not probably going to turn out well. There's too many ways that can be interpreted, and it also, it doesn't target it enough. It doesn't give the AI enough information to work with. So while you could eventually get to where you're going that way, since in so many things, not here, not in Canva Pro, that I was really surprised, you don't have to use credits, but in a lot of the other ones, like, you have to use credits. And so you don't want to burn through those. So you want to be as descriptive as possible. So for example, the difference between just saying the word space or something like, open, outer space or open space, right? Maybe with, bright stars and a distant planet, with a rocket ship going through it. It's that level of detail is going to give you a better result faster, right? And as you may have noticed there, what I'm doing is I am describing the scene, not an individual object, right? I'm trying to give the overall feel of it. So basically think about it like, if you were going to go and have somebody else do this for you, just telling them space is not going to be enough, right? They're going to have questions. So just try to anticipate the kind of questions a person would have and make sure that that information is included in your AI prompt. It also, something that a lot of people leave out when they're doing imagery this way is don't forget about specifying the lighting, right? So, sometimes you want harsh lighting, sometimes you want soft lighting, sometimes you want realistic lighting. However you want to quantify that, you want to make sure that's in there. Let's say you're doing an outdoor scene. So you want to make sure in that case that you're saying things like, daylight, midday, cloudy, rainy day, nighttime. Again, because all of those details will have a direct impact on the result you get. You want to use phrases like, minimal abstract background in blue tones, right? Or coffee beans on a wooden table with overhead lighting, right? But you could also add things like, say something like, fun, colorful shapes for a kid-friendly flyer. You could even specify that you want it to look cartoonish or Pixar-like or, realistic. Again, those are going to give you very different results, and you can even try the different ones to see which one is going to fit the picture in your head better. But again, the more details like that you can give, the better. And then once you've got that in there, these AI tools and like Canva, just handles it. The other tip I have for you before we dive into a demo is that this is the kind of thing that, by all means, go ahead and just start with what you've got. Whatever comes to mind, whatever image you're using, do that. If you don't get the results you want, particularly on the merge, like if you finally get the image that you want, crafted the way you want it, and then you're ready to go ahead and add it, and maybe it's not working or you get a blank or things don't work. A trick I found as I've been testing this is for some of the images that I was using, it worked out better if I removed the existing background and then added the custom background. Now, I'm not saying you're going to need to do this all the time, but it is something that you should think about, and particularly if you're running into any kind of problems, because, hey, if it fixes it, it fixes it. Let's talk about real world, right? this is always presented as magic, right? And it's a fix and it's going to work all the time. Nothing works all the time, right? And again, we've talked about it before. AI is a misnomer. That's not what it is. It is artificial. It's not intelligent. It is at best pattern matching. That's really what it's doing for you. So yes, there are limitations around it. In this particular case, in Canva Pro and the other things I talked about, education, teams, and nonprofit, who have access to this tool, you're limited to 400 images every 24 hours. Even I, who like to play with these things, I'm hard pressed to hit that limit. I'm sure I could if I really tried. But 400 images every 24 hours, so that clock resets every day, that's pretty generous in my book. Like I said, there are other parts of Canva AI where they are using credits, which is even more limiting on the number of tries you can do. So 400 images, that's pretty good, but I wanted to get it out there because it is a limitation. The other thing is sometimes your generated background images are going to be more pixelated than what you had in the original background. So you may need to make some adjustments for that. And that's an important thing, I guess, to mention here too, is the fact that once the generated image has been selected and added to your image, you can still edit that image, right? It's not locking it down. So you may find that you need to do a little tweaking, as you're going through it. Let's see. So the other thing is, and Canva is, doing their due diligence here, right? So you can't generate background images for images that the Canva AI, has deemed as unsafe, right? So anything not safe for work, not family friendly, right? And what are we talking? Like, we're talking nudity, gore, really over the top violence, stuff like that. Common sense, really. And as I mentioned, right, when you go through this process, there will be times when you end up with an empty or an unexpected result. Or what you get back is not even close to what you intended. Now, some of that could be your prompt. Some of that could just be the fact that AI is not perfect, and it's never going to be, right? I mean, that's the reality of life. Nothing is ever perfect. So, go back, try again, maybe try a different prompt, that kind of stuff. But just understand that, yes, failures are going to happen, which is why that 400 is very nice of them. Because you're going to have to redo things from time to time. Sometimes you get it right off the bat. Sometimes it's some back and forth. And so that's just good to know. And just as a general statement, if you do get a result back that you feel is unsafe, inappropriate, harmful, anything, right? You can report that image in Canva by hitting the report button in the app. Or you can just, screen cap it and send them an email at their support team, and they will go ahead and look into that. They've been very responsive. I have only once gotten back anything that was like, really? But that's just a part of this type of a world. Things are going to happen, but they do already have a process in place, which not all of the tools have yet. Over time, they're going to have to. But just know that with Canva, there is a report button, or you can contact support, and they will, they'll respond to you. For the folks who are interested in this, and I realize that it's not everybody, and that's totally cool, right? But just so you know, in this case that I'm talking about with Canva and the background generation tool, it's licensed under open source licenses. And the ones that they're listing are Apache 2 and Creative ML OpenRail-M. Now, there's links in the description, as always. You can go to a page on the Canva site that gets into all the details on that if you're interested in that or if that impacts you. But just as an overall statement that those are, it's open source under those two listings. All right. That's a more and more of a thing these days. If you have any interest in staying on top of the content that I'm doing or the stuff that's coming out this year, I recommend that you go ahead and sign up for the mail list. You're not always going to get notifications on whatever platform you're watching on, unfortunately. I mean, we try, but it's not always working. So if you go to let me try that in English for you. If you go to yourtechcoach.com/mailing list, you will get on the mailing list and you will get notified of the upcoming shows. Those are the folks who always find out first what the next show is going to be about. Those are also the folks who always hear first about anything new I have coming. I promise you, I do not pound you with emails for my entertainment, right? And I don't fill up your mailbox, right? I understand. I get way too many emails too. So the emails I send out are very specific, they're very targeted, and you're not going to get 1,000 emails from me in a week. It's just never going to happen. Frankly, I don't have that kind of time. But just so you know, that is a resource for you and an option. You can also always check the watch page on the website if you prefer to watch things there. Six of one, half dozen of the other. Alrighty. So now that we've got all that out of the way, what do you say we take a look at this? Sound good? All right. I think, yay, that worked. All right. So we're in the Canva app. And I'm in dark mode. Those folks of you who are into light mode, go for it. It's just not my thing. But they've made some changes. They're constantly making changes. But for the most part, things are pretty straightforward. To demo this, I'm going to show it to you in the photo editor. But do keep in mind that they have released a new version of the app, this version of the app, that actually combines all. Let's just talk about this for half a second. So I'm going to show you how to do this in their photo editor. And one of the things I know has frustrated people with Canva overall is that it's kind of like an umbrella app with all of these little tools and applications in it, and you kind of have to know where to go in order to do certain things. They've heard those comments, feedback, complaints, and so they have actually released a different view of how to do this kind of stuff. I think they're calling it Visual Studio, which is a bit of a problem because there's some development tools out there by that name, but whatever. But the point is that there's another way now to do your projects so that, if you need an Instagram post, or you need a video, or you need a title card, or you need a document for the same project, previously you would go and put those all in a folder so that at least they were all together. Now you can put them into a file and work with them. So I'm going to cover that in another show in the future, but just know I'm using this as an example, but you can actually access this in other places throughout Canva. Okay, hopefully that made sense. Alrighty, so let's go ahead and working inside of the Canva app. Like I said, this works for Canva Pro, so it's the paid levels, right? So Pro, Teams, Nonprofit, and Education, and it works across the board. So if you've got the app, if you're doing it in a browser, if you're doing it in the application running on your mobile device, it's always there. So let's go ahead and we're going to pick the photo editor. Okay, and as always, so you're going to see that it's up here. It's not always going to be up here at the top, right? Right now we've got auto select, background generator, like they're highlighting some of the new stuff that they've recently announced. But it's not always going to be here, but that's fine because I'm going to show you how you can go ahead and do this. So let's pick a picture. Obviously, it's going to be one of my dog pictures because, hey, why not? Okay, why are we not scrolling? Please scroll. Why are we not scrolling? Oh, because I'm not scrolling the right scroll bar. That would be the reason. Okay, so let's see. I actually found one when I was playing the other day. Let's see if I can find that image again because it just kind of cracked me up. Okay, here we go. So let's pick this picture, right? Not the greatest picture in the world, but it cracks me up how often Murphy likes to go and sit in front of my workstation on the sofa like he's going to do work. I would love for him to get a job. He's an expensive little puppy, but I digress. But, so here's a pretty standard kind of picture that I've taken. But the reason I picked this is because this is him coming to visit me, on the sofa when I've been working, and you can see he's covered in grass here, right? Because he had a nice time rolling in the fresh cut, grass out there. This looks like it was probably, early spring because the grass wasn't really growing, so it's all dried out. So here we go. We're going to go ahead and use this. Now, depending on your view, sometimes I'm finding that I see it up here. Sometimes I'm finding it over on the side. Again, 6 1/2 dozen the other. What you're looking for is background or BG generator, which is over here. So I'm going to click on this and you're going to see that it opens up a little window here. And we're going to say, okay, so it's asking, so the box here is for your prompt. What prompt do you want to give it? So we're going to say something fairly simple. How about smallish stack of hay bales outside in the bright sunshine. Let's see what we get. It's a variation on one that I played with before, but it's not exactly the same because I like to try different things. So it's going to take a little time to generate. That's why you see these kind of just flipping around here. Okay, we got the first one. Now this is funny. I said outdoors, and it seems to have put it in a barn, which I think is funny. But okay, so then it gives you 4 options, right? So you can click on them to see. Now he's kind of seems like he's floating here. Here, he's sort of on, but his butt's hanging off. This one he's mostly on. Okay, you know, I'm not loving that, so let me adjust this a little bit. So let's just say stack of hail bays. Let's see what that gives us. I didn't want it to be 18 feet tall, but let's try that. Let's make out. Oh, I said out inside. That's why. Okay, so outside in the bright sunshine. Let's try that. And we'll say generate. It does take a second. Let me scroll up so we can see them as they come in. I find it funny, like, not all the boxes fill at the same time. Okay, so again, with this one, he's kind of floating above it. This one, his butt's hanging off of it. This one, he kind of looks like he's partially standing on it. He's standing on it more here. All right, so let's just say we're going to use this one. I mean, he's kind of at an awkward angle anyway. But you see, like, I didn't have to do anything, right? We've got this. And, it's putting it in context for me. And we could keep trying these. Like, you literally could keep playing forever. But what I wanted to show you is that there's this little other button here, right? You see it's like a little sun. And I notice a lot of people are missing this, so I wanted to show it to you. So you can click on this, and you can say, keep the lighting as it is, rebalance it, or maximum relight. So first we'll try relight. And that's pretty subtle. But if you go back and forth between the two of them, you see that it does kind of match more the background. And this is a full one of a relight, which is pretty good. So then you can just say done, and now you've got your image. And like I said, you can continue to edit this just like you can any other image. You've got crop, you've got, adjustments that you can make, you've got the other tools available to you. But just as an example, that's what we've got. And you can go ahead then and add this into another design. You could just save this, whatever it is that you want to do. So we're just going to save this one for now, and let's do another one. So let's see what else I can find here, just for contrast. Let's see. Flowers. Maybe we can try flowers. Or how about, maybe we'll try this one. Let's try this one. So this was, he got some presents for his birthday. So let's see what we can do with this. So I'm going to come here and I'm going to say throne with maybe party balloons. Well, maybe it would help if I could spell. Oops, what happened? Oh, I clicked on something I shouldn't have. Let's try that again. Sorry, that's my fault. I swiped. Where was that image? That down farther? I think that was down farther, right? That was after the flowers. Oh, now it wants to do flowers. Stop. That's all me. I've had too much coffee today. Can you tell? Or actually, here, let's try this one. Okay, because I like the way he looks here, but I don't like all the garbage in our house. So let's do this and instead say, how about white sand beach with blue skies and a couple of seashells. Let's see what we get for this. That's him sitting at he likes to sit at the front door and supervise everybody. Ooh, okay. That's what I asked for. Okay, that's him more in the water. That's nice. The angle's a little off there. I kind of like the first one, but he's facing the wrong way. So maybe that one? The shells are pretty. Yeah, let's go with this one maybe. I just like this one. That just kind of works for me. So again, here, we can, oops, it's hard to get it on this screen to show, but it actually does have, like the water and all that kind of stuff. So let's try the lighting. So if we rebalance it, okay, that makes him look like somebody else's dog. So I kind of like this. I think that this kind of works better with the lighting and the other colors in this. So that's nice. So let's go ahead now and we'll go to the next step and say create design, because all this did was edit the image. But now I can go ahead and use this, maybe as a social media post or something like that. So, we've got this here, and let's see, maybe we'll do, I don't know. Maybe we'll do some text on this. How about that? Oh, we could flip it. What do you think? That's kind of nice too. Any preference? I kind of like that. I kind of like him looking off that way. And then we'll come over here and we'll grab some text. And we'll say, something like that. Dreaming of summer. And I don't think Code Pro is a good font for that. Let's try something else. How about that? That shows up pretty good. And we'll change the color. Maybe something kind of bright. Like that. Okay, let's try that. And let's, oops. Maybe we'll bring that down here. So, I would mess around with this more, maybe make it bigger and all that, but you kind of get the idea, right? So the whole point of this is that I was able to take the image of him at the doorway with all of my stuff around on the floor and instead put him on the beach looking out over the ocean and dreaming of what he's going to do with his summer. So it's really just limited by your imagination. This is one of the chances, where you can take something that you have and make it that much better by just enhancing things or making, like you've got a picture that's not quite what you wanted, make it what you want. You can readjust things however you want, put whatever context around it. To be honest, this would also be fun. I did this a lot when my nieces and nephews were younger in more traditional tools, right? I would take a picture of them in one of my graphic design tools and I would very meticulously cut them out, and remove the background. And then I would put them, in a spaceship or, riding a unicorn or whatever. It was just something fun to do for them. They'd always get a giggle out of it. Boy, this makes this so much easier. Stuff like that would take me hours and I could do it in minutes now with this kind of a tool. So again, yes, I'm talking about it in the context of our businesses and promotion and communicating with clients and all that kind of good stuff. But you can have fun with this kind of stuff too. You're really not limited to just business use. You can have a good time with it. So I hope that you found this helpful. Thank you so much for joining the stream. I really appreciate it. As usual, do the things. That really does help. And let me know in the comments if you'd like to do a deeper dive on this, or if there's other types of tech explainer kind of things that you're looking for, other ideas for improving your workflow or making tasks easier. That's what I do for folks, right? People are grinding through and they've got things that they do that they've been doing that are kind of working for them, but maybe take too much time or there's too many steps or whatever. And so I come in and I help restructure and organize and recommend tools to help. So, feel free to let me know what it is that you would find helpful. And as I mentioned, you can always reach out and, ask questions or whatever at yourtechcoach.com. If you want to join the community where we are talking about this kind of stuff and doing other sessions that aren't quite so limited by time like we are here, you can join my Patreon. I'm your tech coach over there as well. There's a free and there's paid levels, and there's chat and community there. And I'm going to be doing monthly sessions via Zoom, so we could actually talk and kick around ideas. You could let me know what you need help with and all of that. So just trying to give you the options that you need. So thank you very much. I hope you give this a try. I'd love to hear how this works for you and what you're using it in. And for those of you who power all the way through, thank you. It does really help the channel. It really gets more people to see this, and I appreciate you for doing that. So here is your bonus tip. There is actually a free tool inside of Canva that you can use for this, and it is almost as good. So let's go ahead and we're going to come down to, well, here, let's go to another image maybe. Let's jump all the way out. Let's go home and let's just pick, we'll just pick another image here, right? So we've been using the BG generator, which I see it's got the little crown on it, and that means that it's just for people who have the paid accounts. But there are other apps out there that you can use. And of course, every time I come in here, everything is in a slightly different place. Okay, so I might need to go out. So let's go out of here and let's go to, where are the apps, folks? It is a little harder to find. Let me try it this way. Okay, so if we go over here to the side, if you go all the way back to, oh, I'm sorry, it would help if I would share this. Ever so sorry. There we go. Okay, so if we go back over here and we go down to apps, come on, there we go. You can go ahead and search for this other tool, and let me just get the name for you. It is, okay, I can't see that. Ah, there it is. Okay, replace background. Make sure I get this right. Replace background. Okay. So this tool here will do pretty much the same thing. Now, I have tried this to compare it, against what Canva's given us. It is a third-party tool, right? So you see here, it's from Image Design Art, and they're more, what's the word I'm looking for? They're more credit-based. Let's go with that. Let's see. I'm just looking for something that I could possibly use this in. I don't know if this is going to work. Let's see. We could try it. So you can go ahead and by using it, you select the image you want to use. So you're going to want to do, if you're going to go this route, you're going to want to create your imagery first and then go into apps and go and find this, right? So create your image, save it, and then you'll be able to grab it. But let's say, we're going to say something like, how about, I don't know why I'm thinking about beaches so much. I guess because summer is coming. What's another good background we could do here? We could just pick something random. You know what? Let's try the other one. Let's say wooden table with coffee beans and a mug. Let's just see. But you see here that this is credit based, right? So down here at the bottom, it's saying, use 1 of 10 credits, which refresh every day. But you can go ahead and do that. And let's see what happens. So it's a similar concept, but it's definitely not as powerful as the other one I just showed you. But it does give you something. Now, it's not giving you choices, right? It's showing you the one. I do like this feature of like the before and after. So it kind of like gives you some indication of change here and different ways that it can look. But there you go. You can go ahead and do this kind of thing. Now, I'm not seeing, when I did this before, it gave me a button to add it. But I was doing that from a different machine, so I don't know why that's not working right now. But it does work. I was doing it before. Let's see. Or maybe it just didn't replace. All of the AI stuff is a little wonky. I won't kid you. No matter what tool you're using. And it could just be it didn't know where to put it here. We'll see. Maybe if I don't have anything selected. One moment. Okay, yeah, I don't know. For when I did it before. Oh, it uploaded it. Okay, when I did it before, it actually just loaded it. I don't know why that didn't happen this time. But let's go ahead and see. So it's saying that it's available now. And I think it said in uploads. So let's go ahead and look at that. Yep, here it is. Okay. So this is a little bit different, but you can see that, I've got this, and then I could use this as my background. So here, we'll just do this really sloppy quickly. Like that, maybe, and like that. And then this would have actually been better on the title card, but let's give it a try. And then we're going to say position, and we're going to say to back. And then we've got to remove the one that's in the way. And take that away. And maybe if I do this, so we get a feel for the other stuff down there. Now, I am doing this really fast. Obviously, you would spend more time on this. But you can see that, it gives it a different feel, it gives it a different look, and you can still go ahead and edit it. So it's not a complete one-to-one replacement, but it's another option for you. If you don't have and you can't go for the for the paid account, if you're on a free account, it's just another way to do it. And so that's just something to keep in mind. Anytime you run into something in Canva that is something you want to use, but it's only available for the paid users, one option is to go into the apps and look for something similar and give that a try. The other is you can sign up for the free access, which I think is still 30 days, and then use the paid stuff. And then when when you don't need it anymore, you can turn that off and go back to free. Now, there's a limit to how many times you can use that particular trick, but it is an option. So I hope that's helpful for you. Again, I would love to hear from you. What works for you? What doesn't, what you've tried. If you've got another option that you prefer, do keep in mind that with those third-party tools, if you want to use them outside of Canva, when you click on, when it says, who created it, you click on that, that'll give you a link, and then you can go, or you can just search for their name online and check out their other tools. So, or, sign up for a full plan with them. Usually what they put in Canva is sort of a subset of the functionality that they have available to their own paid clients. So thank you all so much. I hope you have a great weekend. I hope you give this a try, and we will talk again soon. For those of you who are looking for a little relaxation on a Friday night, feel free to come over and join us on Twitch tonight. It's the same name, Your Tech Coach, and you can join us when we play either or all of Riff Tracks the Game, Jackbox games, or What the Dub. So if you're looking for some fun, relaxation, no tech, no business, just relaxing, feel free to come and join the party because we do have a good time over there. All right, everybody, we will be back next week with a different topic. Between now and then, I hope you have a good one. And Mr. Murphy is going to be there to support us, even if that's just by napping. All right, everybody, have a good one. Bye.